Lisa Block here, MD&M West 2025. We have been having the time of our lives. Everybody nice and full, had some lunch, and you're feeling good?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good. Look, she said, oh, yeah. That means that she is ecstatic. Well, I can't wait to hear about some of the things that you guys have seen, how excited you are to talk about them. Let's start with Jim, because I feel like you're way down there on the end. You don't ever get to talk first, Jim. So take it away. What have you seen?
I feel so far from you, Lisa.
I'm sorry.
There's a distance between us that
There
I'm.
is.
Yeah.
There is.
So I've spent a lot of time up on the floor in the main hallways there, and what struck me the most. Yeah.
Yeah, you got that right.
All right, God. Has been the people. It hasn't been the technology, it's been the diversity of people that I've seen at this show. This is my second year at MD&M, and I am used to going to trade shows and seeing a lot of people who look like me, right? This is one of those trade shows that I have seen an immense diversity, and I don't look around and just see me. And that's a really neat thing to be surrounded by and really dive into. And so I've had some great conversations up there. Been into a couple of booths. There's a booth upstairs, Pico MES. They're doing a $100 assembly contest. If you assemble a part the fastest by the end of the day, if you have the fastest time, you win $100, and they're doing it all 3 days. It's pretty neat.
I'm going.
That sounds like a challenge that we should all go upstairs and do.
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe we won't win $100, but maybe we put a little group wager on that and see who the best the
first
best
drink.
I mean, I'm not competitive at all, but I think that could be fun.
Does the first drink go to, or the loser pays for the first round?
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair.
They won't let us go. Sorry, it's just not in the schedule.
Yeah, so much for assembling for $100. What about you, Ann? What are you excited about? What's going on?
I was really hyped about going up and seeing the IGUS booth earlier. I think what they're doing, rolling out with the robotics industry and those solutions are really cool. But I love that they're doing live demos up there. I mean, that was a lot of fun to see. They have somebody that of course, like this is the industry of people, right? I mean, we say that, right? We say automation, we say AI, but really at the end of the day, our industry is about people, and having someone up there to walk through a live demo of how the product works, I thought was really a nice soft touch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, before we go to the amazing Scott, we want to get some questions from all of you, so have something prepared for us. But Scott, I want to know what you've seen out there that you're excited about.
Shop floor coffee.
Yes.
Right there in front of me.
Amazing talk.
Fantastic brew in my cup. It is, yes, I've had 5 cups already, and I'm already talking faster as we go. But fantastic. The boldness from Amy, Shop Floor Coffee, doing what she needs to do to make this happen is fantastic. It was a great conversation. You need to check it out.
Did you know that a lot of their proceeds go to workforce development
20%,
programs too?
20%.
Yep. Yes. So worth
Shout
it.
out Shop Floor Coffee.
Yeah.
Awesome,
There it is.
awesome. Well, listen, it is never too late for you to have your moment at MD&M West. Would anybody like to give us a question? We want to answer some questions from the crowd. We promise we won't run up to you while your mouth is full, but
Who would do such a thing?
if you are feeling brave, feel free to ask us a question. Don't everybody rush up at once.
Come on, we go to the same barber over there. Come on. Same barber. We see you all the time.
I feel like if you have a
Looking
beard, you
good.
should ask a question because it's beard day.
You know, I got a question for you guys. We are at a trade show with
Yes.
with the internet taking things a little bit further and being able to see things more in depth. This trade show has been going on for 40 years.
Yeah.
How relevant do you feel trade shows still are as people that are in the industry?
I don't think they're relevant. I think they're essential.
Ooh,
I
like
think we always talk about, I saw more foot traffic at this one, or I get more bites at that one. But I feel like if you're not having the results from a trade show that you want, you're probably exhibiting at the wrong trade show. But I think being able to reach out and touch some of the things that people do and seeing them all together, it'll never get old. It's essential.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I I think that trade shows bring that human touch, right? And people buy from humans, not the internet. The internet is a tool. 70% of the buying process is done on the internet before a consumer reaches out to a salesperson, especially in B2B sales. This human element that you get at a show like this is just irreplaceable when it comes to demos at IGUS and Pico and shop floor coffee, handing out coffee, things of that nature. I don't see any of this going anywhere soon.
Scott,
No,
you had thoughts?
No, I'm backing off. Look at me back off. Backing off. I'm letting you have it right now.
I think I've been going to quite a few trade shows over the last 7-10 years, and I think that they've shifted, they've changed a little bit, but I think that they're always going to be essential, right? I mean, you can see a lot of the stuff. Everybody's got a really good YouTube channel. Everybody's got a really good web page. You can see the stuff. There's ways to do augmented reality to see products, right? But there's something unique, like you said, about going in, shaking somebody's hand, laughing with them. The human element of manufacturing is never going to go away, and we need to take advantage of those in the trade shows. And if you feel like you're not getting enough out of the show, I don't blame the show. You know, I blame the people sitting in the booth, frankly. You know, like, are you sitting there looking at your phone while people are walking by, or are you making eye contact, getting out and shaking hands and kissing babies? That's the question.
Absolutely.
I concur. I mean, some of my best friends I've met at a trade show. I have been going to Informa events now for a long time, since 2021. Actually, someone that I see in the audience, Chris Coons, shout out. Chris Coons with Augmenteer, everybody. Chris and I met at a trade show, speaking on a panel together. And that was 2-3 years ago, and we still keep in touch. And there's just so much value in building those partnerships, in those relationships. One thing for me, one of my major goals this year is to really hone in on those partnerships and really hone in on how I work with other people's. How am I being a good partner? And what can I expect in a good partner at work? And I think that's one of the biggest value in coming to a trade show, and that's how we are moving in business going forward.
Speaking of partnerships, we have a Q&A question. Come on and ask the question. We want to see what you got to say.
All right, my name's Greg. I'm with CMMS Radio. I know a couple of these cats up here on this.
My man.
What I like to call an awesome panel. Shout out to Jim Mayer. Scott, how you doing, buddy?
Back at you, Slugger.
So my question is quite random because I just stepped in here looking around for where I needed to go to find you guys. But I want to ask a question about leadership and culture and how that sets the stage, in any of your opinions, when it comes to creating a maintenance culture of excellence within a manufacturing environment.
Yeah. Maintenance and reliability and asset management. And of course, your CMMS radio, of course, you have all that information. But I'll be real. I'll be real. The real part about it is the fact that I've been on this journey for many years. And we start talking about, hey, we're going to be an asset-centric and a reliability shop. We're going to be focused on it. We're going to make sure that these assets are optimized. But the reality is, it's just when the next wave of leadership comes in, it goes away and things die out. And I think today, from my perspective, I think it has greater traction today than it's ever had. Because I think that there's data, there's just ways of being able to track that information off of those assets and be able to proactively or tactically deal with those assets in a way that I just think it's happening. I think it's better now than it ever has been. Do you agree?
That's awesome.
I tend to agree, and
Yeah.
the reason I asked the question is my concern is always with whether providers of technology and adopters of technology
Yeah.
are in fact doing the right things before they actually jump into that whole arena of spending huge money, and I don't want people getting shelfware.
They're not.
So
You know that.
I don't want to give away the panel discussion that we're going to have a little bit later and my answer to what I assume will be a similar question out there. But what I will boil it down to, from my experience and expertise, is change management. If you're not inviting change,
Preach.
if you're not asking your employees what change they would like to see, you're never going to embed it into your culture, because it will, as Scott, I forgot your name, pardon, sorry.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
Forgiven.
As he said earlier, it would just change with each leadership team. But if you ask your employees what change they'd like to see, that becomes part of the culture, and that then doesn't change when your leadership changes. I hope that answers your question.
It does, and obviously it's a really big subject, so I appreciate all of you taking a shot at it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah. Good.
Awesome.
You know, I think all those questions about leadership, they're the ones that apply the most, right? Because it doesn't matter what kind of technology you have. It doesn't matter the sophistication you have. It doesn't matter the equipment you buy. If you're not leading your team properly and well, then it all falls apart, right? Your team is your greatest asset. It's the thing that helps you to grow your business the most. You can have the greatest equipment, but if you don't have the right team to run it, it's basically useless. And so the leadership side of things, it's the most crucial thing that people leave out.
Absolutely.
And they forget. They don't train for leadership. They train to CNC. They don't train for empathy and growth and working with people. It just, you get promoted to that position because you're the best at the thing that you do.
Yep.
And then, but nobody tells you how to do that thing.
Nope. Yeah, we in this industry, we historically promote the best individual contributor into leadership roles without giving them the tools to become great leaders. So what their default is, neurologically speaking, is they default to their original leadership, right? What they had when they came in. We're talking about MD&M 40 years ago, right? 40 years ago, when you started being a machinist and you were in the shop, what employee engagement and employee experience looked like is a lot different than what it looks like now.
I mean, I've heard the stories from my dad when he was an apprentice at Jandler or wherever that was, and I can tell you the experience that he had as far as leadership, and Jandler's a great shop, but it's not the kind of leadership that people are expecting and needing and deserving and requiring today.
Well, you know, Seki makes a really good tool for that, for engaging your workforce, but also like prompting and providing like internal leadership programs. So that's a way that I think that tech is really helping us along, right? But I think the biggest thing that we can do with leadership and change management is really listen to our employees and be open-minded and practice that active listening to understand like where their gaps are, where they're struggling, encourage them to fail forward, if you will, and you know, provide some outlined approaches for them in order to improve, and just making sure that all those bases are covered, right? A lot of the things that I think we struggle with in manufacturing are small things. If we, you know, had some checkpoints to walk through, or if we knew, okay, well, we've covered all of our bases here, we've asked the questions, we've listened to people, and then we made like meaningful change, like do what we say we're gonna do, right? I think, you know, that's the only way to build a culture.
I agree with you.
Well, all of us know that we could talk about leadership 24 hours a day, because I think we all agree that it is a huge and vital component to what we're doing, and we know that we have to do it with intention. But I want us to transition because we have a brain battle coming up, and I am super excited about it.
What's
and
a
so
brain
we
battle?
will come back. You will have multiple opportunities for us to talk about all of these amazing things and continue discussing with thought leaders. So we look forward to continuing the conversation.